What's up, Fiend fam? I hope the new year's been good to you all so far. I know I've made some videos lately that have been highly critical of Harley-Davidson, particularly my one on the 2021 launch event. While I feel my criticisms are valid, know that they come from a place of care and frustration. I want to see the Moco not just survive, but thrive. I'm not just a hater that's bashing them. I love my Lowrider S, and the Pan America is on my short list of ADV bikes when I decide to start looking. I know that Zeitz just took the reins not all that long ago. It's going to take some time for us to see how his plans produce. We still have another reveal coming soon as of the recording of this video, and I'm hopeful we'll see something more than we did for the January 2021 reveal. I'm also generally the type of person who likes to look at the glass as half full and offer solutions rather than just focus on problems. So, in that vein, this video is going to talk about things that I personally think that the bar and shell can do to get themselves back on track. Number 1. The Revolution Max engine. Like it or not, the Revolution Max engine is Harley-Davidson's future. Don't get it twisted, few things are as visceral as an air-cooled Harley engine. That said, the Moco needs to do what they can to stay in compliance with changing emission standards. Agree with them or not, they are here to stay and will likely continue to get more stringent at a faster rate as time goes on. I don't predict that battery and charging technology are going to be good enough for long-range travel on motorcycles for at least another half decade or more, so this is their next best option. And to be honest, there's a lot to like here as well. Harley has stated that the 60-degree engine will be offered in at least 4 configurations, 2 of which we know about so far. The 1200cc that's going to be housed in the Pan America is reportedly making over 140 horsepower and 90 foot-pounds of torque. The 975cc version, which was slated for the currently shelved Bronx, claims to make more than 115 horsepower and 70 foot-pounds of torque. I can see them having a 300 to 500cc version for an entry-level bike and a beefed-up version near or above the current 114-inch Milwaukee 8. Yes, torque is down from the M8s, but I have a feeling that they or the huge aftermarket can coax quite a bit more out. Number 2, embrace technology. The Moco has been dragging its feet with regards to technology. Even when they do adopt some form of it, it's usually an optional extra and the cost is always passed down to the consumer. $800 for ABS or $1,000 for the Reflex defensive rider systems seems exploitive to me when many manufacturers are already offering these things as standard equipment. I'm not naive enough to think that those other manufacturers don't factor those into the cost of their bikes, but here's a situation where Harley can take a page from their book and do the same. I know they're worried about some buyers not being interested in technology, but these are safety features and will likely be mandated at some point in the near future. Get ahead of the curve instead of being left behind. I live in this city that birthed Kodak, and it's a shame to see what a once proud American company looks like now because they refuse to heed the writing on the wall. Speaking of other manufacturers, when it comes to tech, they're beating the Moco to the punch and in a big way. Most entry-level bikes these days do have an LCD display of some sort, and others come with full-color TFT displays. The Indian Scout Bobber 60, a direct competitor to the Sportster line, comes with a well-featured LCD display below their analog gauge. Yes, I know the Sportster has one as well, but let's face it, it's anemic. Even the gauge cluster on my beloved Lowrider S leaves a lot to be desired. Sure, it's larger than the one that was on my R883, but not by much, and its biggest claim to fame is that it has a fuel gauge and miles to empty indicator. Contrast that with the KTM 390 Adventure ADV bike. This bike comes with a 5-inch full-color TFT display. It also has ABS, off-road ABS, and cornering ABS. It also comes with lean angle dependent traction control. And then there's the smartphone connectivity for turn-by-turn directions, music, or phone call features. What's a bike like that run, you might ask? Try $6,200. I know comparing them is like apples and oranges, but it's meant to show that technology can be integrated into bikes and have it be done in such a way that it doesn't shoot the price through the roof. We all know that the Moco has experience with rider modes and TFT displays as they implemented them on the Livewire, and I'm willing to bet that the Pan America will see them as well. I'll be the first to admit that technology can sometimes get in the way. I also want to say that I'm a big fan of choice. If you don't want traction control, ABS, or the other electronic goodies, you should be able to disable them on your bike as it comes from the factory. But HD should not drag their feet on giving those of us who want technology in their bikes. KTM proved that they can do it with a bike with an MSRP of 6,200 bones. Surely the Moco can do it too. My Lowrider S costs nearly 3 times what the 390 Adventure does, and its best tech option is one sole USB port. Number 3, decide on an identity. In my humble opinion, the Moco has been struggling with their identity for some time now, and deciding on what they want it to be will make a huge step towards the direction of the company in the coming years. I've been harsh on the bar and shield at times, but make no mistake, they aren't dummies there. That said, they've been trying to ice skate uphill to satiate a core demographic that is aging out and has likely bought their last bike. Yes, tradition and heritage are important, but there comes a time when technology must move on. The horse and covered wagon were cool in the 19th century, but it sucked dying on the Oregon Trail due to dysentery because it took forever. The time has come to move into the 21st century, Harley. Granted, I have no idea about the manufacturing process of motorcycles and all that, but I'd be willing to bet that if Harley had introduced the Livewire in its current form at say $20,000 and a slightly less appointed model in the $15K range, it had sold a lot better than it did. The tech is awesome. I've yet to hear one person who's actually ridden the bike say one bad thing about it or that it wasn't fun. I haven't been able to try one yet, but I did get my hands on a Zero FXX last summer, and it was some of the most fun I've ever had on any bike. Harley seems to be the type of manufacturer that is either too early or too late to the game. Look at the XR 1200. It was a factory scrambler long before it was even really a thing. They are the first large motorcycle manufacturer to come out with an all-electric variant. But then look at things like my Lowrider S. Riders in the club scene have been putting high bars and bikini fairings on their bikes since the 80s. The Moco didn't come out with their factory version until a full 3 decades later. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't buy my Lowrider S for that specific aesthetic. While I love the look of it, I bought it because it was the cheapest way to get into a 114 at the time and came with inverted front forks and dual discs up front. Here's the thing, Harley can have its cake and eat it too. They can offer things like traction control, ABS, and a TFT display and all the rest. Include that in the MSRP of the bike. Make it so owners can easily disable those things they don't want once they get on their scoot. Considering how relatively inexpensive analog gauges are, make it so that people can order it with them from the factory instead of the TFT display, or they can elect to install those gauges themselves once they take delivery from the dealer. All the street, road, and tri-glides come with a TFT display. No reason why it can't be an option on the other models as well. Modularity will be the key going forward. Maybe take a page from the automakers and offer equipment packages. You live in the Rust Belt? Well, how about a cold weather package that includes heated grips and seats from the factory? Dealers can order bikes with packages that they feel will sell well in their geographical area. Okay, maybe that might not be such a great idea, just spitballing here, but my modularity point still stands. I say that HD should offer bikes with the choice of the current M8 engine or the new Revolution Max. Offer the M8 for as long as you can, but giving buyers a choice never hurts. I also think they should decide if they're going to cater to a new rider market. The Street Series was a step in the right direction, but they need to come at it more seriously. I think that offering a cruiser in the 300cc to 500cc range would be great. I also think they're missing out by not offering some sort of automatic or clutchless transmission. If I recall correctly, Honda is the only major manufacturer offering a dual clutch transmission on their bikes, and the smallest one of those is a 745cc bike. If priced right, think of how many new and potentially returning riders they could get on Hogs if they really offered that. I personally think it's the most criminally underexplored sector of the market. I know a lot of riders aren't fans of automatic motorcycles, but if it gets more people on too, I'm all for it. Okay, that'll do it for this video. I'm still in shock at the growth that this channel has seen. As I've said before, I have zero expectations, and the fact that over 160 of you have decided to subscribe is very humbling to me. As I've said from the start, I do this because I enjoy it and I really want to give back to the community. If you're new here, I make weekly content. If you've liked this or any of my other videos, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and sharing. It really helps out the channel and I want to do as much as I can to give back to the community. For those that are returning, thank you. As always, stay shiny side up. Throttle Fiend out.